to your Personal Power Boost with Dr. Verna, a global force for transformation, unlocking human potential one leader at a time. Are you looking for a boost to help you reclaim your personal power? Then this is your weekly source, where we dive into conversations about navigating your professional and life journey. So, take a deep breath, open up your heart, and get ready to ignite your leadership and fuel your spirit. Let's go. Welcome back to Dr. Verna's Personal Power Boost, and I hope that you are ready for one this week. It's great to have you back, you all who are my regulars, and those of you who are brand new, welcome. I'm Dr. Verna Cornelia Price. It's great to have you join the podcast, and hopefully that you will learn something new, that you'll be inspired, that you'll leave feeling more powerful, and that you will subscribe and like and tell your friends and all of your neighbors to do the same as well. All right. So for those of you who know me, you know that I do a couple of different things. Is that I've been a speaker, teacher, author for many, many years. I've done this work for many years, and I have taught all over the world, literally all over the world, and know that my work is a work that is a calling to the nations. So whether you are here or whether you are in Ghana or Kenya or Beijing or Switzerland, these are all places I've been, or Dubai or the Caribbean, these are all places where I have taught. You know that my calling is really to empower you to become your most excellent self. So what I have found over these years is that it's really important that we not mix up our be with our do. Let me say it again, that we not mix up who we be with what we do. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about what happens when those two things get mixed up. And then I'm also going to talk about how do we avoid mixing those up, because it happens a lot. I am wearing my African jewelry today, and I'm wearing that not only because they're really cute, but also to also tell a story as well. All right. But first of all, let's go ahead and start with our affirmation. And it is: my power is my ability to think a new positive thought, see a new positive vision, speak new positive words, write new positive goals, and do something new and positive about my life by taking a new positive action step. So take your positive action step. So last summer, June 2024, my family and I, my husband, our children, and then also another family, we traveled for a month across 3 different countries, African countries. We were in Kenya, we were in Ghana, and we were also in Liberia. Now, we were traveling for one reason only, and that is to teach, right? So I believe that this work that I've been given, this work around the 4 kinds of powerful people and helping people understand who they are as powerful people, this work is a work for the nations. Everyone needs to know today. Everyone needs to know that you were born with power. You were born with power. Your workplace is not giving you power. Your workplace, your education is not giving you power. Your influence is not giving you power. You were born with power. That's simply who you are. And so I was walking along the road in a village in Duri, Kenya, with a young woman, and we were just having a conversation. And it occurred to me that this young woman knew exactly who she was. She knew exactly who she was. She knew her clan, she knew her tribe, she knew her culture, she knew her land, she knew her people, she knew her language. She knew who her parents were. She knew her history. This young African woman in the middle of a little village in Kenya, she knew exactly who she was. She knew her be. This is who I be, right? This is what makes me who I am. And then I thought about, for example, African American people in this country, in the United States of America. So many of us, we don't even know who we are. We don't know what tribe we came from. We don't know who our people were, right? Because our people were captured slaves, brought to this country to be slaves in this country to help build this country. But we don't know our history. We don't know who we are. We don't know what land we came from. We don't know our language. We don't know our history, our formative history. And I said to this young woman, I said, you're so blessed. You are so blessed to know exactly who you be. And isn't that something? Isn't that our work? Our work is to find out, who are you really? Not who people say you are, not who people, have an idea of who you are or perceive who you are. Who are you really? What do you think? What do you feel? How do you feel about yourself? What do you think about yourself? And let me just tell you, in this work, what I have found, if nothing else, right? If you never learn your history, if you never know who your people are, if you never know who your culture is, but you know what? I would challenge you to find out. Find out. Do your DNA, history, whatever they call it, 23 or whatever new app that they have to find out your DNA strand. Find it out. Find out who your people were. Find out your culture. Explore your language. Learn more about who you. Why? You're the only you that you have. You're the only you that you have. And if you do nothing in this lifetime of yours, on this side of eternity, if you do nothing else, find out who you be. Because I can tell you, when you begin the work of finding out who you be, a lot of different things happen for you. So in the workplace, what happens? When you don't know really who you are and you come into the workplace, it's easy to become an imitator. You just begin to imitate how other people act, how other people talk, what other people do, right? There's some research when women first came into the workplace. There's some research many, many, many years ago. And what women would do is women would wear suits and ties to work. Why? Because everyone in the workplace were men, and the men were wearing suits and ties. And so guess what the women thought that they had to do? They thought that they had to wear suits and ties. But the truth of the matter is that they really didn't have to. They felt pressured to, but they didn't really have to. And sometimes when we're searching for who we be, the core of who we are, we start imitating other people. Let me tell you, stop imitating other people. Become you, your most excellent self. I remember when I first started this work, someone said to me, Dr. Vern, you can't just be yourself in the professional world. Yes, you can. Be yourself. Now, I'm not talking about, you have to know that there are spaces and places and ways of being. There are some things and some ways that you may act at work that you may not act at home. Or there may some ways that you may act at home that, it's not even appropriate for the workplace. So I'm not talking about appropriate behavior. I'm talking about the essence of you. Who are you? Bring your authentic self to the workplace and stop imitating other people. Who you be. Now, when you understand who you be in the workplace and in life, by the way, you become more powerful. You become more amazing. You become more influential. You become a better leader when you understand who you be. Now, of course, I know some things about you. I know who you be, right? First of all, I know that you are powerful. I know that you are a valuable person. I know that you were born with your power. I know that you are a very important person. And I know that you can influence others. And I know that you're a leader. I know that. But when you begin to learn that for yourself, things change. Now, when we mix up who we be with what we do, what you do is simply that. It's what you do, right? It's your skills. It's how you know how to do things. And so that's like the transactional part of yourself. is what you do. Now, when we begin to mix up what we do, right? What I do is I'm a teacher, right? I am a speaker. I am an author. I am a manager, right? I am an entrepreneur. That's what I do. But who I am, who I be, is very different. Now, when what you do and who you be actually comes together, you become a very dynamic person, because guess what? You're an authentic person doing your work in an authentic way in the world. But when you mix up what you do with who you be, when what you do becomes your whole life, and what happens with people, so many of us in the workplace, is that what you do becomes your job, your title, what you're responsible for. And then when that is lost, guess what happens to you? You lose who you are. Why? Because you begin to mix those two things up. Let me tell you, it doesn't matter what your work is, what your job is, what your title is. That is not who you are. That is simply what you do. So if that changes, you don't change. You're still powerful. You're still amazing. You're still talented. Guess what? You'll just get something else to do. And you're going to be just fine. It helps you to transition to your next level. But when you mix these two things up and what you do is now gone, what will happen is that you'll feel lost. So there's a lot going on in the workplace right now. There's a lot of changes with all these different cuts, all of these different changes and funding structures and businesses changes. Things might change for you in the workplace. You might get laid off. Your position might shift. You may have to be on a new team. Don't let any of that bother you. Why? Because you know who you are. You are strong in who you be. And what you do might change, but you remain the same. You remain the powerful leader that you are. And know that you're going to make it just fine. You're going to transition just fine, because you know who you be. And you know that what you do is important, but it's not everything, because who you be is the most important thing. All right. I hope this was helpful to you. It certainly was helpful to me. I always have to remind myself not to mix up these two things. All right. Let's go ahead and finish up with our affirmation. My power is my ability to think a new positive thought, see a new positive vision, speak new positive words, write new positive goals, and do something new and positive with my life by taking a new positive action step. All right, we'll see you next time. Bye. If today's episode spoke to you, and you know it's time for a shift in how you lead, how your team connects, or how your culture performs, I want to personally invite you to take the next step. Book a free consultation at drvernaprice.com/workwithme and explore your next keynote, your leadership workshop, or executive coaching. It's time to get your power back, and it is time to get to your next level.